Hi Braden, I'm YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Rich People Just Get to Do Things, I guess. And at the end of this video, I'm going to try to tell a funny joke. You guys are smart, you all know what's happening right now in the world, and because of current events, I've been inside watching copious, unhealthy, god-awful amounts of television shows, and one of those shows is Saturday Night Live. Whether you love it or hate it, since there doesn't seem to be anyone who doesn't have a strong opinion on this show, it has been a staple of sketch comedy for almost 50 years. I'm not trying to say if it's funny or not. YouTuber Drew Gooden has already made an excellent video on that topic. I also don't want to talk about the at-home edition of the show, because that's an entirely different video altogether. Today, I just want to get on the most petty of levels and talk about a specific, not even problematic joke. But first, a tiny bit of background. One constant of the late-night comedy show is a segment called Weekend Update, a fictional news show in the world of SNL that kind of reports news, but mainly jokes about current events. That's the real point of the segment. This portion of the show is pretty regularly funny, in my own opinion, and has had some amazing hosts. It may have even paved the way for other late-night comedy shows like The Daily Show, The Colbert Report, and Late Night with Seth Meyers. Hey, wait a minute, wasn't that guy on Weekend whatever. During Weekend Update on Saturday, May 2nd, 2020, the show announced that as part of the All-In Challenge, it would be auctioning off the chance to write a joke that would be told on air the next week. In less than a week, the opportunity to have one of your own jokes told on SNL sold for $100,000. That's a lot of money. I'm obviously not complaining about that. That amount of money will do a lot of good for a lot of people. But really? $100,000. There's so many new comedians that would kill to have one of their own jokes on the show, but they aren't rich, so they don't get to do that. The show used to actually have a program where you could submit jokes to Weekend Update, and they would give you, I think it was $100 if they used the joke. That program, though, is now discontinued, but a lot of comedians did get their start that way. In fact, one of the funniest people on the planet, Ben Schwartz, started his website rejectedjokes.com for jokes that didn't make their way onto the show. Now, he's Sonic the Hedgehog, and wrote all the jokes for C-3PO in the new Star Wars movie, and is and doing amazing improv. I love you, Ben Schwartz. But he's not watching. And before we go any further, I just want to say I'm not upset at all at SNL for auctioning off the joke. The All-In Challenge is a part of a charity, so that entire amount of money, the $100,000, is going to go to a great cause. I just think it's silly that it wasn't a good joke. So what exactly was this $100,000 joke? I know I was dying to see it, so I'm just gonna stop talking about it and let the clip roll.
Some airlines have announced that as part of coronavirus safety procedures, they will now be boarding from the back of the plane so that first class would be the last to board. Apparently watching all the people in coach silently trudging past you just doesn't hit the way it used to.
Wow, well, $100,000 well spent.
So it wasn't a terrible joke. It wasn't good, though. Honestly, I really thought somebody with that amount of money was going to joke about something really obscene or just not be funny at all. But this joke had the structure of a joke and even nailed the tone of the show, which is fake but real news. I don't know if the auction winner had help with the joke, but there was a setup, a punchline, and it fit within the news story format, so props to that. Here's why it was a bad joke, though. It's not very relatable. Yes, a ton of people fly every single day, but a few select people are both rich enough to afford first-class tickets and then buy those first-class tickets. In comedy, you want to punch upwards at people above your station. By having the punchline of the joke be that, oh no, these poor people are silently trudging to their poor seats for poor people, you're making them the subject of the comedy. That's not to say you can't laugh at yourself, though. Tons of comedians make jokes about groups of people, but they themselves are usually part of that group. I'm a short dude, and I love the song Short Kings by Tiny Meat Gang. They themselves are short, though, and by making jokes about themselves opens up the opportunity for people to feel comfortable laughing about themselves. Saying that, though, I don't even think it's a bad premise. I'm sure it could be restructured for the common folk like us. How it is now, though, it just sounds like a rich person is whining because he's upset he has to wait for normal people to board the plane before he can use his airplane fast pass extra plus gold star super seat. In short, if I had the money, here's the joke I would have told. Welcome back to Weekend Update. I am your host, Funny Boy. I'm getting reports that the COVID-19 situation has been especially stressful for the Flat Earth Society. They fear that the social distancing measures might finally push people over the edge. Thank you. That's our show.